Morning, Nikhil. Hope Venkat will be joining soon. We'll just continue. So, in the last class, we had discussed about this purchase info record, right? If I remember, purchase info record. Last session was about purchase info record. Today, we'll continue with that. You can write down the next topic as a source list. Source list. So, what do you understand by source list?
Source list is information. There something that contains some information or some materials.
Yeah, as you already saying, it is source. In fact, source of what? That is something what we need to understand with this. See, we have created purchase information record, which is actually providing the data about a particular material being um, brought from a particular vendor, what is the cost, and so on, other conditions, price, etc. But source list provides the list of vendors who are available for a particular material. So this is again with respect to vendors. Of course, throughout the entire training, we'll be dealing with vendors and materials, of course, different types of materials in materials management. It's quite obvious. Now, source list, this is again a master data which is providing the information about different sources of supply for one material, for a material. You can write down this. Source list is a master data. It's a master data that specifies sources of supply for a material. Now, how could this help? What can be the purpose of having this master data?
If any one vendor is not available, then we can go for some other vendor.
Yeah, we can directly go for that particular vendor and purchase it. By that, what we are doing, we are avoiding or saving time so that we need not have to search for the vendors again and again. That is one. Secondly, we can also have a particular vendor for a particular time period as fixed source, so that for another 3-4 months you need not have to worry about that particular material. Anytime you have a requirement of a material, you can directly approach a particular source. So in that way, it will help us in saving time as well, and also to determine, thereby reducing the processing time. So you can write down this. This data, this data also helps with preferred source of supply, comma, limiting source of supply, also in blocking source of supply, This is what we need to understand. Let us say that before that we created PIR I just want to tell you how to see the list of what we have created. See, if I go to this SAP menu, logistics, hope screen is visible to you, materials management,
Yeah, visible.
purchasing. In this master data, here we have info record. So list displays, this is used. See, I demonstrated ME11 and we have already seen how 12, 13, 14 can be used in previous documents, like while creating material. We have already seen that with material change. Similarly here also, if you want to change something in PIR, we'll be using 12, and just in display mode 13, 14 what changes we have made, 15 flag for deletion. I think you have written all these T codes, haven't you?
Written
Yeah,
in previous.
here you have one more. You just observe this list displays. I'm just going back to info record. List displays. See, ME1L, 1M. Now, what is this? How is it helpful? I have created some info record and I want a list of all info records for a particular material or a particular vendor based on vendor or material. In that case, I can utilize these T codes. Let us assume ME1L, I'll go by vendor, ME1L. I'll go by vendor. I want to just check the record what I have created based on a particular vendor. So I have to provide vendor details. I think 4006 was the vendor used. Let me just check. Do you remember what was the info record number from previous session?
No, no. Here I have not written.
Okay, 4006. See, I'll get like this info record number for that particular vendor. We had PTPL, right? It's not 4006. Company is different. PTBP. This is giving you the entire list of PIRs based on vendor. Yeah, this is the vendor. I observe this. You get this vendor. Hello.
We did,
Oh,
we did this.
we did
Ah,
with
yes,
this
sir.
PTPL vendor 3.
Yeah,
So I'll just double click on that. I'll get to know the info record number 209. This is what we had done. Okay. In this way, we can just trace back what is the info record number. I just gave you a small demonstration of doing it. Just give me a minute. I would like to check with Venkat whether joining is an issue. Just check with him. You can just make a note of this by then. Okay, 209. You can just observe this vendor number. It is 9999 000003. This is the vendor used for the material 700700 370. This is the material number. Now let us observe how it works with the source list. Now what I'll be doing is I'll be using this same material number, but I'll be taking a different vendor deliberately. There is some purpose. We can just observe that. Now we'll directly move on to source list part. Hope you have noted this information.
Yeah, that's noted.
Because I will be in need of that. I'll proceed with source list. So you can write down the path. Path remains same until here. Here we need to take source list. SAP menu, logistics, materials management. SAP menu, logistics, materials management. Purchasing, purchasing, master data, master data, source list, source list. Now in the source list, we have ME0, 1, 3, and 4. Of course, is again to list display ME0M by material. You can have list of all sources what you have created. You can just write down these T codes 1, 3, 4, ME0M. Any significant observation that you can make with these T codes? I'll just open the previous one also for your quick reference. See, until now we have used material creation T codes, vendor creation, also info record. Now we are seeing source list. Look at these T codes. Can you have any significant observation? See, these are vendor T codes. Just by looking at the T codes, can you say something about source list?
So one always ends with for creating and two for changes
Yes.
and M like
So
this
that
one.
is
Yeah.
general, right? One create, two change, three display. So in that way, we have seen T codes until now. And like that, here in source list, we have 01, which is directly maintain. Maintain in the sense you don't have two. That is one more observation. ME02 you don't have. ME01 is create and also change, because of which it is given maintain. So write down 0134. We'll see how it works. Should I proceed?
Yeah.
So I'll take ME01. For the same material, say once I go to that, it will ask what is the material and plant. And hope I have told you this in the last session. We call them as prerequisites. In order to create any document, we need to give some inputs rather. Here, as you can see, we have material, plant. Source list is to create the sources for a certain material. So for one material, how many vendors are available? That is something what we are trying to do now. Thus, for one material, what is that material for which I would like to create source list becomes the major input data. So I am taking that material number and plant. Do you make a note?
Yeah. Continue.
Yes, I'll proceed with this. Well, what are the fields that you need to remember from this? I'll tell you few. You can just make a note of them. As you can see here, you have material plant, of course, based on the input given. Then valid from, valid to, vendor, purchasing organization. Just make a note of these column headings. Valid from, valid to, vendor, purchasing organization. So valid from, it specifies the date from which the source is valid. Similarly, valid to, date up to which the source is valid. Then vendor, of course, who is the vendor who is valid for that period. Then purchasing organization. Vendor belongs to certain purchasing organization. Rather, the purchasing organization is trying to purchase from that vendor. In that way, they are related. Purchasing organization, vendor. Written.
Yes.
Then you have fix and BLK. They are to fix and block the vendor respectively within the time defined. As you can
But what
see, after that you have
PPT
fix.
you
Yeah,
can
you can
continue.
just that there are a few other columns, but we are going to define the data in these columns. We are going to give inputs in the columns, what I've told. Let's make a note of these columns. So this is to fix certain vendor, this is to block certain vendor. Well, we'll start with this now. So you have observed that the vendor taken, let me just have vendors list as well before proceeding. Are you able to see the new screen?
No.
Okay, let's share it. Now?
Yeah. New screen
Yeah,
is
see, in this MKVZ, this is the D code to find the list of vendors, PTPO, fine. So write down these vendors, all 4 vendors, use them. As of now, I think this is the vendor which is considered in PIR, isn't it?
yes.
Okay. So I'll take up some other vendor. 1, 2, 3, 4 9 followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So valid from, I'll take today's date. Valid up to, for how many days is this particular vendor which I'll be defining will be valid. I'll take 1 month from here. 1 month. Vendor number. Purchasing organization. Make a note of this. I have just entered these 4 fields. Mind you, again, this is the list of vendors for this particular material. Rather, the sources from which you can, from whom you can purchase this material. See, after writing this, you can just further continue. You have generate records, this icon, white and red. The circle, this is to generate records. Observe this, generate records. So I'll click on this to proceed. Click on generate records. Now again, system will ask, how long should this record be valid? How long should this record be valid? So I'll take this date again, same date I maintain, 2021, valid from to valid to. Valid from to valid to. So this record is valid for 1 month, meaning to say from source list, I can directly take this particular vendor while creating purchase requisitions, purchase orders, and so on for next 1 month from today. So this record is valid for 1 month. Did you write this? Shall I proceed?
Written.
Shall I?
Yes.
Yeah. Now one more thing what you need to very keenly observe and understand. Once I click on that, see, system is asking you what should happen to existing source list. Let us assume for this particular material from the master data, we have few other vendors also. Now what should happen to that? You have three options: not changed, deleted, invalid within generation period. Not changed means let that vendor also appear and this vendor also. Let both of them be available. Deleted means let this get deleted and the existing let it be available. Invalid within generation period means both are available, but I cannot select the existing source list within the period what I have defined. I repeat it, you can just make a note. Not changed. First option, not changed. While generating source list, while generating source list, if not changed, within inverted comma I can write it. Not changed is selected. Then existing source will also remain. Existing source will also remain, comma. Then again within inverted comma deleted. For deleted option, source gets deleted in the generation period. Source gets deleted. So third, you have invalid within generation period. Invalid within generation period, which implies source cannot be selected. Let us see how it works. Now what have I done here? I have deliberately taken some other vendor and I am selecting this, not changed. Existing source list records will not be changed. With that, I proceed, not changed, and continue. Observe the screen and tell me your observation. What has happened now?
So now both materials are available. Vendors are available.
Both are available. So you are able to understand that, right? Both are available. See, I didn't type this vendor now. Where is this vendor being read from?
Previous record.
This
Initially we
vendor is read from purchase info record. So it is automatically coming here. Now let us do one more thing. I'll take this 25/4/2021. I am directly taking next month 25/4/2021 to 25/6/2021. I enter these two dates. I'll go with this 490000. I'll take 2.
one probably not.
Is 1 defined for our company? I
Yeah,
don't
one.
think so. PTPL Vendor 2, vendor 3, I think it is 2 and 3. I'll go with 2.
Is available. 101 is available.
Yeah, I'll go with 2. PTPO. So purchasing organization I enter. Now just observe, I'll go generate. Sorry, I think I've left out one more. Sorry. Yes. PTPO. I'll go with generate now. This is a huge range. So observe the validity date as well. 25/3/2021 to 25/7/2021. I take this and I go with deleted. I'll go with deleted. Observe. What happened?
Previous two are deleted. Sources are
Two got
deleted.
deleted and the existing source remained. And validity date changed here automatically. And this vendor is existing vendor from PIR. Hope you are understanding. Are you able to make the difference?
Yeah, understanding.
Yes. So I'll do one more thing now. The last option as well. Again, I go to generate. Again, I'll take. So now I'll say invalid within generation period. I'll proceed. What happened? I got back only the vendor which is available from PIR. I didn't get other vendors. Now we'll do one more thing. 25/3/2021 to instead of another 4 months, I'll take it for another 2 months, 2021. So I'll take a different vendor, 9999000000 PTPO. I'll click on generate. I'll say 25/7/2021. I'm taking next date 2021. Proceed with this. I'll go with not changed. I'll enter. So when I say not changed, both are available. I'll just generate this and save it. Fine. I've clicked on generate. I'll just save this. I'll save this. So source list is changed. So hope you understood this part.
Yes, we got. We are understood.
This is about source list. So we have the reflection of the source list while creating purchase requisitions, while creating purchase orders as well. We'll see that slowly. We'll move into those topics one by one. Before that, under source list itself, you have one more thing, that is creating source list automatically. You can just write down that. To create source list. See, now what happened, I have to manually provide the information while generating the source list. Until now we did that. To create source list automatically, we can write down. We have this ME05 generate under source list ME05. I'll tell the path you can write. SAP menu logistics, materials management, purchasing. SAP menu logistics, materials management, purchasing. One thing I'll make it clear. See, whatever we are doing under SAP menu, it will be in logistics itself. We are not touching other things. It is under logistics, and that too under materials management. Whatever we are doing, mostly we do it under materials management. Other topics as you have here, this is for sales and distribution, plant maintenance, production planning. So you have other logistics related things. We do work under materials management, and for all the master data, we'll be entering into purchasing. In fact, most of the documents what we create will be under purchasing. So this is only to let you know so that you can remember the path easily. SAP menu, logistics, materials management. Under materials management, purchasing, master data, source list, ME05, source list, ME05. So I'll take this ME05. Now for this material, I want source list to be created. For this particular material, I want source list to be created. So I just entered the material. Here see existing records, what should happen, not change, delete and become invalid or automatically. You are getting all these options in same screen. You are getting this in automatic creation, and validity date from to 2. It is showing here. See, manually we gave it that who should be the source. Now here system will automatically generate who would be the source. This is test run. Shall I proceed? Have you noted?
What about that one MRP indicator meaning?
MRP
Yes.
indicator is about, see, MRP is materials requirement planning. Who will be used if at all we are allowing this particular material uh, to create purchase requisition or schedule line agreement or not? Should that MRP be used? For that purpose, this indicator is available. However, we are not going to make it very specific, like to create purchase requisition, whether it has to be allowed or schedule line agreements or not. We are making it general. That's the reason it is not selected here, not used. I'll show how to create PR based on source list. We'll see that in the next document creation, we have that. So now I'll proceed with this. I'll click on generate. So which source is taken? Say for this material from to 2, earlier we defined it from 3 to 5. We'll just reconnect once the time expires. We have less than a minute. Then 5 to 7 and 5 to 7. You have this vendor being taken from purchase info record and other vendor from the source list just created. Got this?
Yeah.
I didn't enter vendor numbers. System has automatically generated.
So automatically generated means uh, in practical in real time.
Hmm.
The advantage if I go if that automatically generates.
Yeah, based on PIR and existing source list. If at all you have already created, then only this auto works, or else no.
And can you elaborate some?